Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another plant video. We are doing a tag video today that I am so excited about. It is a tag video by my friend Deya. She made a Vampire Diaries tag, but she made it planty. The two things in my life that I can talk about for literally hours, days, months. I literally could talk about it and spew just random nonsense about the Vampire Diaries and plants. So the excitement that I felt when I saw that she had come out with a video like this, I was like, yes, I need to make that video as soon as possible. So that's what we're doing today. I don't really want to waste time rambling. So the first question here is, if one of your plants was growing in the Salvatore home, which one would it be and why? It has to be my Raven ZZ plant. Raven ZZ plant is a ZZ plant, but a vampire. Okay, it's black, it's dark, it's gothic, like the Salvatore home. Everything in their house is just very like old century, you know, they're vampires, they're old. So I definitely would have to say a Raven ZZ plant would look really cool in there, just because it doesn't need a ton of light and it's dark and it just I don't know, it fits, I like it. The second question is, who were your top 3 favorite Vampire Diaries characters and what plant would they be? So my favorite character has to be Caroline. I love Caroline so much. I feel like I would like to be Caroline. Caroline was like awesome. She like carried the show past like the 6th season. Everything that she had to go through was like just crazy character development, just really crazy character development. I would say that the plant that reminds me of her the most is probably my Hoya Bella Variegata, and it has to be just because of like how just perfect it is, which it sounds really weird, but like Caroline had a very type A personality. She was like a baddie. I don't know. She controlled herself, she didn't really kill people, and she was just overall like really helpful and cool, and she was smart and just like independent and nice. I don't know. The Bella Variegata, I feel like the way that it grows in like pairs like this is really cool. It just reminds me of her being like the pretty girl at the beginning of the show, but also being a baddie. I want to say that this one, the main reason I chose it is because of the struggle that I have to get the peduncles to flower. The Bellas always get peduncles and then they drop them, and I feel like it kind of symbolizes Caroline in the way that she never really got a happy ending. Like, we never really got to watch Caroline bloom to her fullest potential, I guess. But that's really cheesy and silly. But yeah, I would say Bella Variegata is definitely a Caroline Forbes. My second favorite character is probably Klaus. Which is so, I love the villains in the Vampire Diaries, okay? I love the villains in the Vampire Diaries. They are literally like, they're my favorite. I would probably say that like Klaus and Kai are one of my favorite characters, just because like they spiced up the show. I don't know how to explain it. I am a Caroline shipper. I love them. But I would say that Klaus is probably a Hoya Finlaysonii. He's jagged and he's old, and you would think that he was a bad guy because he technically is a bad guy, but he had like a very lovable side to him that really just made you love his character. I don't know how to explain it. He definitely killed a lot of people, which isn't good, and he sacrificed Elena's aunt or whatever, but like, I don't care. I loved Klaus. He did a bunch of bad things, but honestly, like the amount of times that they like had to ask him to come back to like save the day was like unreal. So I don't know. I really like Klaus. He's one of my favorite characters for sure, and I think I'd say that he's a Hoya Finlaysonii. I'd probably also say that I really love Damon. I think Deya also talked about really loving Damon. Damon was a horrible person at the beginning of the show, but honestly, I never really saw him as a villain because I was just kind of like, he's bored. I don't know. I never really was like, oh yeah, he's a bad guy. At the beginning of the show, I was just kind of like, he doesn't seem so bad. He doesn't seem, he's attractive. I don't know. And I would think that he's probably a Hoya Mirabilis just because of how like much it has grown for me. It grows pretty quickly. It doesn't really look like it's grown a lot, but I did end up having to take a cutting. There was a time that I actually struggled with this plant and it lost more than a few leaves because I hadn't watered it. I have no idea, but some of the leaves turned yellow and it dropped like 3 or 4 leaves and I had to take a cutting. And then it seems fine now, but that's kind of how Damon was. Like, there were times where you were like, oh, he's a good guy. And then there was another time that he was like, oh, yeah, he's really dumb. And the whole like Elena-Damon relationship with them being like, you don't deserve me, I do deserve you. No, they did that both with Stefan and Damon and it was really annoying. But I don't know, I really love the Mirabilis. Okay, so that is the second question. The third question was, who was your favorite villain redemption character? Which of your plants redeemed itself? So, so like I really loved the majority of the villains in the show. I loved Klaus and I loved Kai. I wouldn't really say that Kai redeemed himself. Did really any of the villains redeem themselves? Ooh, Rebecca, because you really saw her at the beginning of the show whenever she started to come out in the series. She was really mean and she tried to kill Elena. She's the reason why Elena became a vampire, but at the end of the show, and I guess at the end of the originals, she was definitely one of the characters that you liked and you kind of rooted for just because of everything that she had gone through, and she also really just wanted a boyfriend. She just wanted love. She just wanted to get married. She just wanted to be a normal person, and I guess you could see all of those things as redeemable qualities, so I would say probably Rebecca. And I think probably my Pentaphlebia. This Pentaphlebia is gorgeous. It's so pretty. I love this plant with all my heart. I actually ended up basically chopping it up and having to start over with it. And being in the grow tent helped it a ton. So when it was outside, it was definitely dying. It wasn't doing so well. It was sad and not really thriving at all, not doing any new growth. It was just dropping leaves. And now I have some beautiful cuttings in Leca. I have a cutting in Pawn, and I also have the original plant that I had left 2 leaves on growing, and it's given me 3 new leaves already. It is just gorgeous, and I definitely say that it redeemed itself. After being like a massive struggle, I really love this guy, and it has now become one of my favorite Hoyas. 4. This question is so funny to me because there are so many annoying characters on the Vampire Diaries, but I have to say my #1 most annoying character has to be Matt. It has to be Matt. Matt was so he was always in the way. Like, how did you survive? He was a human and he was like dumb. Like, he never really was able to choose sides. There was even one season where he was trying to kill Stefan because supposedly he thought that that Stefan had killed his girlfriend, but in reality he killed his girlfriend. Like, what? I don't know. He was so annoying to me. Like, he really got under my skin. I was just like, what is your problem? Like, why are you dumb? There was also an episode in season 3 that made me so angry. It made me like livid. It was whenever Klaus came to the school during a senior prank night, and he was trying to get Bonnie to figure out why his hybrids weren't, like, I guess, surviving. Instead of really helping Bonnie, Matt ended up like killing himself to be revived by CPR. And then when he came back, he gave the most useless information. Like, they already knew that the reason why it wasn't working was because Elena was alive. Like, that was already the assumption. So the information that he got was just like, it was just useless. I was like, so you killed yourself and wasted time so that you could tell Bonnie something that we already knew? I don't know. that episode for me, for some weird reason, makes me so angry. But I would say that Matt is probably an endowensis. The endowmensis is super difficult and annoying. It is so annoying. This plant is one of the most annoying hoyas that I have. It is so, I don't know, like it'll start growing and then it'll drop leaves. It'll like stick to things. You never know when to water it. There's literally yellow leaves in the soil right now because like I haven't watered it. So this plant is so annoying. It's not beginner friendly, and I would definitely say that it is the mat of my Hoya collection. Number 5 is, if you could visit Mystic Falls, where would you go? And which of your favorite plant shops would fit right in? So I would say that tall plants here in Houston, I feel like I would 100% see tall plants like in the Mystic Falls Square. I don't know how to explain it, but like just their whole vibe is very like retro. I don't know how to say it, but I think that I would definitely see that plant shop there. And if I were to want to visit Mystic Falls, which is on my bucket list, I need to go to Mystic Falls. I need to go to Georgia and visit there. I think it'd be super, super, super fun. But I would say I'd probably want to go to the Mystic Grill. It looked cool. I think it'd be something that I'd want to see. But yeah, that answers that question. The next question is, in the Vampire Diaries, there was always a threat in every season. What has been the biggest threat to your plant collection? I think the biggest threat to my plant collection would be spider mites. At the beginning of my plant journey, spider mites were the worst. They are the worst. They're just something that I cannot keep up with, and it was to the point where any plant that was spider mite prone, I had to give away. I actually did end up keeping my philodendron verrucosum. This looks so fancy on camera. But this guy was super spider mite prone. My philodendron melanochrysum was also spider mite prone. I had to neem oil them down. It was to the point where the amount of work and effort that I was putting into trying to keep them away was just not worth having the plant. So I just got rid of them. But I could not get rid of my baby verrucosum or my melanochrysum. So I did keep them. And I haven't had an outbreak since like last year, so thankfully all of them are gone. I really think it was the alocasia that were bringing them in, but yeah, spider mites have to be my number 1. And then the last question is, the Vampire Diaries had so many doppelgangers. What plant in your collection could you have multiples of? So literally Elena had 3 doppelgangers. It was Amara, Tatia, Catherine, and Elena. And then Stefan also had doppelgangers. It was Stefan, Silas, and Tom Avery, which was a human that they just randomly threw into the show for like 3 episodes. But I would say that the plant that I would probably have a lot of would be the Hoya vitellinoides. I love all my Hoya so much, but this is actually one that I do currently have multiples of, and I just really love these leaves. These leaves are insane. They are so beautiful. The leaves in my grow tent are this really light green color. This cutting that I took is a darker green color, and it's so beautiful. I just love having veiny Hoyas around. I also have multiples of my Matilde. I have multiples of my Linearis. I have multiple Finlaysonii. I have a lot of multiples. I also have multiple Syndapsis. I'm just a multiple type of person. If I had a doppelganger out there, which a lot of you guys say that I look like Erica Lodes, so I basically do have a doppelganger, and it's pretty awesome. In my brain, saying that I have a doppelganger, like that's just really cool. But I think that is actually the last question that I have to answer. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I didn't blabber too much about the Vampire Diaries. If you love the Vampire Diaries and you are a plant person, please do this tag. It's really fun. I really liked doing it, and it's really fun to talk about 2 things that you really, really like. But that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button down below, and if you like me or you like plant videos, go ahead and subscribe if you want to. But that's gonna be it for today's video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye!